Rhinebeck. I am going to film this intro while I'm driving because I did build in a half-hour buffer time to my drive today, but we're stuck in some traffic and it's going to slow me down a lot, and I'm not really going to have enough time to get settled when I get there. So I'm filming this now, which it's fine. I brought equipment. I'm focusing on driving, but there's not a lot of driving to be had right now, so I'll talk too. Okay, I am so excited. Right now we are on our way to Untangled, and then immediately after that we have CAKEpalooza, and then of course the next 2 days are the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. This is the first time I'll be attending Sunday at the Sheep and Wool Festival. I've always gone on Saturday and only Saturday, but this year I have extra time. Of course, last year I was still filming my New York Fiber Trail series, so I had a very busy day on the Thursday before all the Friday festivals, and I was exhausted and slept poorly at an Airbnb, and I had a rough go of it. But this year, since I have the extra day, I don't have the super busy day on Thursday, we're going to go to Sunday too. So I've heard that Sunday is so much calmer and nicer and easier to shop. And I think it'll also make my Saturday calmer too, because I don't have to do another lap and kind of get all of my shopping in and do everything on Saturday, because I will have the same options on Sunday as well. So I have an Airbnb in Saugerties for 2 nights. So today we're going to the yarn festivals. We'll probably have an hour or two to kill after cake is over, and then I can go ahead and check in to the Airbnb. Busy weekend, and of course I will also be filming my typical yarn tourist walkthrough videos. So those will already be out by the time you're seeing this vlog, but I like to do these point of view, no commentary walkthroughs so that folks that don't have a chance to come to the festivals themselves can kind of experience it without the added, personality or narrative of whoever is making the video. I just like to do a piece, like a little walk through the fest for yourself. So those are already up if you want to go watch those. But throughout the weekend, I will also be filming my own point of view so that I can share that with you guys. And I'm just so excited to get there. So for now, I'm going to try to get through the rest of this tedious traffic, and I should arrive at the Untangled venue in about an hour, and I'll just hop in line, because last year the line was already well formed before the festival opened at 10 a.m. So I'm sure that by the time I get there, I will not have much time to chit chat. I'll see you then. All right, we're vlogging in the car again because I forgot to bring my microphones when I went walking around, and then I don't want to walk all the way back out there. Now that I'm back to the car, because I do only have a little while before I have to be at cake. So I actually didn't purchase anything. I considered a bunch of things, but I'm finding that I'm being really picky about the colors of the 2 slipovers that I'm making, and I didn't find anything perfect, and I didn't want to spend a custom indie dyed amount of money on a slipover quantity if I'm not in love with it. So I didn't, but there were so many beautiful things. I was tempted by so many beautiful things. I feel like personally the first festival always suffers a little because I have this anxiety about like making big purchases right at the beginning, which I shouldn't. And I talked about last year, I bought a single skein at Untangled at the first festival that I went to. And then later I was like, I should have bought a sweater quantity. I don't know why I didn't. And I ended up buying more online and having it shipped to my home, which was way more expensive than if I had just bought it the first time. But I can't help my brain chemistry, and I'm still struggling with not wanting to make any big decisions at the beginning of the weekend. But I did strongly consider it. Anyway, I thought maybe we'd look through the little bag This is the tote bag this year. Very similar to last year. It's the same style, which is great because I use it all the time. This is like a pouch, which I use these at home. I like these just to organize things. And it's from the Perfect Blend tea shop. Oop, and it has a little bag of tea. Oh, that's so cute. A little phone wristlet from Lemonwood. Ooh. Ooh. I might actually need these this weekend. My hands were kind of cold this morning, and these would have helped that. These are from Knitty City. They're like fingerless gloves, which of course you need if you're going to knit while you're cold. Like, just because we're cold doesn't mean we want to stop knitting. 29 Bridge Studio, a nice wooden needle gauge. I'm having a hard time judging which is the recorded image and which is the reflection in the screen of my phone because of this awful lighting. Oh, it's like a teeny little bat of wool. It's really pretty, from Cesium Yarns. And a sticker. Oh, another from Yarn Farm Kingston. Another little bat of wool. Tiny lip balm from Scented Stitches. Little stitch marker from Factory Girl Design. It's like a little gear with a sheepy in it. More stitch markers, some little bunnies. Sticker, Knit Your Own Adventure. Ooh, these are fun. Tiny little metal shears. Those are from Mitchell Wool Co. Oh, there's yarn in here. Very soft. And some little pencils from Marky Depths Dye Works. Delightful. What a treat. All right. I'm going to have a snack and then get my butt over to Cake so I can be ready to film CAKEpalooza. Okay, time for a little check-in. This is my Airbnb. I made it here. Obviously, I went to Cake and it was exciting. I had debilitating decision paralysis and I bought next to nothing. I did buy a couple things. First of all, I bought this project bag. If you watched the Rhinebeck planning video, I did plan on getting a project bag here. One large enough for a sweater project, and I think this one is. This is from Tanny Casey. I did buy a couple things from her last year. I really love her work, and it's just such a nice bag. It doesn't have any sort of closure on it, but it's got canvas on the inside, several pockets, and it's got this nice thick round canvas base. So I think it's super nice. I love this sort of botanical woodsy bee print. I'm very pleased with this. And I think her bags are very affordable for what they are. A lot of makers I've seen that create project bags about this size, they tend to be $100+, and this one was $60. So I think that's a very fun purchase. And I did buy a little yarn, but I mean a little. I made one purchase from Chelsea Yarns, and they gave me this cool, like, what's the word for this? Iridescent tote bag. I liked that they had minis of mohair. It doesn't say what the weight is on these, not like the yarn weight, but like how much these minis weigh. But I imagine that this is enough to do like a beanie with. if you're holding it with something. And I just picked up 2 of these. They were $9 a piece. I don't have anything in particular in mind to use these for. I just picked colors that I liked, and I thought if I like them now, I probably have something in stash that will go with them because I probably picked similar colors before. I love holding mohair with things, but I have noticed that I end up having a ton of leftover mohair, and I use the same ones over and over, and I'm always trying to get rid of it, and I never really do. So I thought this was a fun way to try a couple nice, gorgeous hand-dyed colors, but like at a budget rate. And that's actually all I've purchased today so far, which is crazy. Like I said, I definitely had some decision paralysis. There was a couple dyers that had yarns that I thought I might like to get something for my test knit slipover that I'm doing for wool and pine, but I also kind of don't know what color I want that to be. I put dark and moody on my shopping list, and I know that I need it to be a tonal or a solid because the pattern designer actually specified that. They said they don't think it would work well with variegateds. So I feel like a speckle might work, but I haven't found anything that I super love that I'm willing to spend hand-dyed prices on a slipover, because the odd thing about a DK slipover is that for my size, I would need 4 skeins of yarn. So it doesn't fit super comfortably into my budget to spend like $120 on a slipover's worth of yarn. Whereas I would normally expect to spend that much on a sweater quantity if I can manage, because that's a more useful garment to me. Slipovers are pretty, but I don't wear them as often, and I find them to be less versatile than like a pullover or a cardigan. So I kind of talked myself out of the options that I thought I liked today, thinking when I go to wool or sheep and New York sheep and wool over the weekend, I know from past visits that there are more budget friendly options there. There are more like farm yarns and things like that. I'm sure I'll find something. And all else fails, if I don't find anything, I have local yarn stores at home. I have internet. I'll find something. I just really hope to pick up something for that vest here this weekend so I can cast on as soon as possible, because the test has already started and it's about a week or so in, and I haven't even swatched or anything because I haven't chosen a yarn yet. And I also waffled a few times about that slipover I want to knit for a friend for Christmas. I didn't love any of the colors. I really think for hers it should be a solid. I don't, as lovely and enjoyable as we as crafters find hand dyed, I think it's a very niche thing, and I don't think that people outside the crafting community necessarily see something knit out of hand dyed and recognize the value. I think to them sometimes it can just look uneven, which I personally disagree with, but I don't want to give a gift to a non-knitter who might think that it doesn't look as nice because it's not a solid color. And I think this garment in particular would work really well in like a bold, like burgundy solid color. So that's what I'm looking for. If I don't find it, I'll probably go to Knit Picks. Anyhow, that's where I am now. I've not purchased any yarn yet, but I feel okay about not purchasing any yarn. I took a trip to Panera Bread and got some lunch. Even though I know there are some lovely local places here, I wanted to get extra to keep in the fridge so I can have something for later. Right now, I have the afternoon to myself and then all evening. And I think maybe I might try to walk down this street outside, because I've noticed we're in an adorable little downtown and it's a beautiful fall day, and there might be some antique stores there that I walked past on the way. So I think it'd be really fun to do a little vintage shopping since I have nothing planned for this afternoon. And then we'll head back here, have a cozy fall evening where I edit some videos. All right, I thought I would check in again because I edited my first video. It took longer than I thought, although it is a longer video, which I'm proud of. Last year, the Indie Untangled video was the first one I filmed. It was a very steep learning curve. I did not do very well. The cake video was next, and then I got better as I went. But when I was looking at it just now, the last year's video was like 7 minutes long, or it was like really short. This year's is a lot longer. I did my best to take my time and move slowly and not move the camera too fast. It is really, really difficult in a crowd like that because sometimes there's people all around you, or suddenly your camera's like in somebody's face and the reflex is just like to whip it away because that's really rude, but then you do give the viewer whiplash. I understand. So all that to say, I hope it comes out well enough. I hope it's an improvement on last time and that you guys enjoy it. But it is really, really hard to do, especially for me because I'm a person that naturally like walks really fast, and you can't do that when you're filming a walkthrough video. I have to make myself walk super slow, which is absolutely against my nature. That said, the video is pretty long and it's taking a long time to render, and then I'm sure it will take just as long to export. So I was going through my little goodies from Indie Untangled again because I didn't really look at them except for briefly in the car with you earlier today. And I noticed that I was wrong about a couple of them. So I wanted to just like pop in and just add some more details about bits that I missed. First of all, I don't know how relevant it is, but these little Murky Depths pencils are actually, it's a set of colored pencils, which maybe I should have guessed because like, why would you need 6 tiny pencils? But that's cute, right? Secondly, this little postcard that I kind of flipped past thinking it was like an ad is actually, I'm going to cover the QR code, but it's a free pattern for these socks, which are a Debbie O'Neill pattern called the Pilaster socks. So it's fun that they included a pattern in there that was sponsored by Farm and Fiber Knits. So this little tube that I thought was like a chapstick is actually it's called a stitch balm, and it's like a little balm in a chapstick tube, but you're supposed to rub it on the like high traffic, high tension points on your hands to keep your fingers and your hands from getting dried out and like abrasions from your yarn, which is really cool. And I can see on the pamphlet here that they have 4 scents. This one is lavender, bergamot, sweet orange, and patchouli. And I can't really read what the other scents are, but that one sounds really good to me. Oh wait, their other ones are on the back. Let's see, they also have one that says rose, geranium, lemongrass, and I can't quite read that. I do wear reading glasses that I didn't bring, so this is fun. Something, ginger, lemon, frankincense, ylang ylang, cardamom, and jasmine. I think I got the best one. I'm not gonna lie. This one sounds like what I would like the best out of the bunch. Also, Yarn Farm Kingston had like a little tuft of wool in it, and I was like, oh, it's like some spinning fiber. No, there was some other stuff in there too, and I was like, what on earth is this? There's like this little square of like a woven fabric. There's this little square that has the Yarn Farm Kingston logo on it. There's a needle and a little, like a sewing needle and a little piece of felt, a bit of embroidery floss, and then the tuft of wool. And it comes with a little QR code that says mini sewing project pattern. So I'm guessing that this is the pieces that you would like, well, you wouldn't do it like this. You would use the embroidery floss and the needle to kind of sew the edges of these 2 pieces of fabric and stuff them with this, and it makes like a little pin cushion or something like that. So I thought that was really cute, and that I would update you that I really undersold some of the sponsored freebies from Indie Untangled. I'm going to keep watching the ball game. Go Yankees. Oh my gosh. And waiting for these videos to upload, get as much as done as I can today, and get everything charged up and ready for tomorrow. So I probably won't check in again this evening just because I'm not going to have much more to say, but I will see you bright and early for another beautiful sunny fall Rhinebeck day. Good night. Good morning. I've been up for a while. I had my little Airbnb breakfast that I brought with me. That was not the best, but you know what? It was free to me. It's a fun lazy girl tip if you're like me and you're protein deficient, but also super lazy about food preparation, to buy frozen protein waffles and just kind of eat them like toast. Like, I don't know. For some reason, waffles in my mind are super messy food that you put like maple syrup on and eat with a fork and knife, but actually you can just make them in a toaster like toast and put jam on them and they still taste like waffles and have protein, and it's super easy. So that's what I brought with me, even though I don't have a toaster here, so they were microwaved, which is not ideal. But I got my grocery store Starbucks pumpkin spice latte, and I've been editing my cake walkthrough video, which I have to say I'm so pleased with how it came out, because the sun was so bright when I was filming this yesterday that I could not see the screen on my phone to see how the footage was coming out, to see how I was framing things. And I was really scared that I had kind of botched this, but it actually came out really, really good. And I uploaded my Indie Untangled walkthrough last night, and I've already got some really sweet comments about how the filming was good. So honestly, I'm so relieved, because that was the part that I really dropped the ball on last year. So I'm glad, because I felt like I was proving. It's nice to have that reaffirmed in my comment section. So I'm about halfway through editing this cake video, and once I get this done, while the computer processes and renders and everything and then exports, because that always takes a long time, I will get dressed and get ready, and then we'll get on the road to go to Sheep and Wool. I've packed up this bag here. The Indie Untangled bag is going to be just my day bag for the day. It conveniently fits all of the camera gear, my purse, my snacks, my project bag, everything's just in there. And I'm just waiting for my CAKEpalooza video to finish exporting so I can get it listed and get the information into YouTube and start the upload. And then I'm just gonna leave while it's uploading because I want to get there. I have made the decision to hang back a little and get the video sorted out and be a few minutes late to Sheep and Wool, because I don't think it's super important to be at Sheep and Wool immediately first thing in the morning when it opens. I've gone before and I think it's not necessary. So I'll end up being probably 20 minutes, half an hour late, but no big deal. I'm just waiting this one out and we'll get going shortly. All right, so I found a quiet corner to take a break. I was really, really thirsty and had to wait in a short but still a line just to get a lemonade. And I chose the shortest line I could find. I'm not really ready for lunch yet, and it seems to be the busiest time for lunch, so that seems irrational anyway. But I found a shady corner to just sit down and have a break to charge my phone a little because I film on my phone and it's already more than halfway depleted, and I haven't even filmed half of the festival yet. So I'm glad I have tomorrow to be able to film both days and kind of fill it in because I don't think I or my phone have it in me to do it all at the same time today. So it's super, super busy because it's such a gorgeous day. It is nice to see everything. It's good to get the lay of the land, but it's really hard to get in and actually shop the booths. So I am grateful that I committed to coming back tomorrow. And I'm just going to let my phone and myself recharge for a little while, and then we'll go back to it. Okay, so I just got back. I came directly to my Airbnb from Rhinebeck. I thought I was being smart by leaving at 4:30 and not waiting until the bitter end, but apparently that makes no difference. I was just stuck in some of the worst traffic I've ever seen in my life. And it really took me by surprise because I've been to Rhinebeck twice before and I've never been stuck in that backed up of traffic. But my Airbnb is in Socrates. It's about 14 miles from the fairgrounds, and I just spent 2.5 hours in the car. The first mile and a half took 2 hours to get through bumper to bumper, and every side road it seemed had more bumper to bumper traffic merging into the same one lane to go to one stoplight. I cannot believe that they don't have state troopers or police officers of some sort directing traffic because that was truly unacceptable. I don't, if it must have always been like this, but I've just never hit it because I've never left at this time. I am utterly exhausted. I thought I was exhausted before, but I just sat still and watched my car's gas tank range drop and drop and drop as I sat still for 2 hours. So I did get quite a bit of knitting done. I'm not going to lie. I had my project with me and I just worked in stockinette in the round. Luckily, it had a lot to go. Let me show you. I was working on this hat. I don't know who it's for. It'll be a Christmas gift. But before the traffic, I was about here. So what's that? 2.5 inches? 3 inches? And these are not large needles. At least I had my knitting. That's not my motto in life. I don't know. Let's get situated for a second and then I will show you what I purchased today. Okay, I did not make many purchases, but I did buy the 2 most pressing things that were on my list of things to buy. Firstly, I think I mentioned earlier, but I found this yarn, which I think is perfect for the slipover that I want to gift knit for my friend. These 3 skeins are from Stunning String Studio. This is their plump base, which is a DK weight. It's 275 yards per 100 grams, which is a little thinner than the average DK weight, I think. But because of that yardage, 3 skeins is enough to reach the yardage I need. So it might be a lighter weight garment than I was anticipating, but I think this color is so perfect. I've been searching for just the right burgundy all weekend. And I mean, you know, I've seen dozens and dozens of dyers. I have looked at so many burgundy yarns. Like I said earlier, I want it to be a tonal, but like mostly the same, as close to a solid as I can get. Obviously, this is tonal. There will be some variegation, but it's dark, so I think it suits it. And this burgundy is just the right shade. I saw so many that were purple leaning, and for the friend I'm making it for, I really wanted it to be more of like a red leaning burgundy. Virtually every other burgundy colorway that I examined this weekend, it is named after a red wine. This is called Cabernet. And tell you what, I've already turned down Merlot, and definitely turned down a couple others that were named after wine that my brain is too fried to remember what they were called. But this is easily the fourth one that was named after a type of red wine. I think it's perfect. I'm excited. I'm pleased that I found one, truly. The other yarn that I purchased for one of my projects is for my test knit for Woolen Pine, which is also a slip-over test knit. And this is a bargain yarn from, what's it called, Polywogs. And I think I've bought yarn from Polywogs every time I have visited Rhinebeck. They have like bulk bins of like nice American wool, and it's mostly lamb's pride that they have, which is what I've purchased in years past. But lamb's pride only comes in worsted and bulky, and it's a roving, and I didn't think that would be suited for the slip over that I'm making. But this is a plied yarn. I think it's a 3-ply. I don't know where I came up with that, but I'm pretty sure it's a 3-ply. I might have imagined that. It says it's a worsted on the label. Well, it doesn't say it's a worsted, but it says it's a size 4, category 4. But the yardage is 245 yards per 100 grams, which is definitely closer to a DK. And I've seen a lot of DKs that say 245 yards per 100 grams. So even though it says it's a category 4, looking at it and reading the yardage, I'm pretty sure that I can do this DK weight out of this. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that's what I'll use it for. I'm not like so in love with it and so sold on it, but I think it would work for that pattern. I think it would be nice. It's a color that I would wear if I made that pattern out of it. And I was starting to get stressed out and some severe decision paralysis about what to get. And like I mentioned before, starting to get stressed out because that test knit has already started and I'm behind because I haven't gauge swatched or cast on or anything yet. So I needed to get something this weekend, and it was starting to stress me out. And the fact that these bargain bins from Polywogs were $4.95 a piece, that meant that for $20 I could have that peace of mind and calm my brain and just be like, you have something. Maybe tomorrow I'll find something different that I'm in love with that I would much rather use, and if that's the case, then I'll purchase that and do that, and I'll do something else with these. But as it stands, I have the option and I have this backup plan, and I'm feeling much better about it because of that. And the only other thing I bought today, besides snacks, was a little kit to make some felted pumpkins. They had finished felted pumpkins there for sale, and it was $10 for a pumpkin. And I thought about it, but then I noticed that it's $12 for the kit to do the needle felting yourself. And it says you can make 4 small, 2 medium, or 1 large. I'm pretty sure the ones that I saw at that booth were medium-sized pumpkins. I thought it'd be a fun activity. While I was stuck in the car on the way here, I thought, oh, I can do this in the Airbnb tonight. But then I realized I don't have my needle felting needles with me, so I absolutely cannot. This will be a fun fall craft to do when I get home, and it was an inexpensive little kit. So there we have it. That's all I've purchased so far at Rhinebeck. Well, at Sheep and Wool. But I'm headed again tomorrow. I'm probably going to go earlier tomorrow and get there before it opens to be ready, and definitely leave long before it ends tomorrow, not just because of the traffic, but because I have to drive all the way home tomorrow afternoon after I leave, and I would like to get an early start on that. So thanks for joining me so far. I am probably going to just edit videos the rest of the evening, and I'll see you in the morning. It is a beautiful, foggy fall morning, and I am ready to head back to Rhinebeck and see what Sunday at New York Sheep and Wool is all about. Let's go. Okay, I'm headed out shortly, but I thought before we do some final thoughts and head out for the weekend, I would show you what I purchased today, because I actually did relax and do a little shopping this time. So this is one thing that I had considered yesterday. I had this literal item in my hand and did not pull the trigger, but then when I was back today, I did. It's just another little felting kit. This little peachy pink fleece and a wooden mold, or not mold, but form, and you felt a little cheap, and I just thought it would be very cute to do and to have in the craft room. Today, because as they say, it is so much less busy, which it really was. It's still a festival, there's still a lot of people, but it's so much less congested. The lines are so much shorter. Every time yesterday that I walked past the souvenir tent, there was hundreds of people in line outside of the tent, trailing around the corner, and I never even considered going in. Last year, I never went in at all. But this year, there was a line, but it was all inside the tent. It was quite short. And I did purchase a souvenir. So I got this sweatshirt, a little V-neck sweatshirt. Got some interesting construction. I don't know, there's like a seam right down the back. And it's that sort of cotton terry material, but I think it's cute. I've never actually picked up a souvenir from the souvenir tent before. And I just thought this looked like a nice, comfy option. And then I did buy some yarn today, which I'm very pleased. One of the things on my Rhinebeck shopping list was if I fell in love with a colorway, to get 3 skeins of fingering to make another bright side pullover, because of course I love the bright side pullover that I have and I wear it all the time, and I thought that would be a great option. So I had some options that I saw at CAKEpalooza that I really loved, and it was this sort of like light crushed cranberry color. I don't know how to describe it, like burgundy cranberry, but like super lightened. So it's like a pink shade of cranberry, I guess. And there was a couple similar options that kept catching my eye through the weekend. There was one that I almost purchased today at CC's Wool. There was one that I almost purchased today. I waffled for a really long time over a sort of variegated version of that at Dancing Leaf Dye Works. But eventually I walked away from that one because I was waffling too much, and I kind of convinced myself that I was trying to talk myself into it, and I think that I was. I really liked how the colorway looked on one particular skein of yarn, but then the other 2 skeins, there was only 3, and I would need 3 to make this project, didn't really look very similar. They're just, you know, it's hand dyed. They're not all identical, and it kind of bugged me. I didn't think that the 3 would look very good knit up in a garment together, but I kept trying to convince myself otherwise, and I made myself walk away, which I'm proud that I did, and I'm glad that I did, because later, walking through the festival, I went to Miss Babs, and they have a couple of show colorways, but one of them is called Sweater Weather, and it's exactly what I didn't know I wanted. They have all sorts of bases. They have like several lace weight bases and a couple fingering weight. I think they had 3 or 4 fingering weight bases. So I got the Katadine fingering weight, which is 100% superwash BFL. So it's Blueface Luster. And honestly, this is what I mean. It's just that pink crushed cranberry color, but there's so much variegation in these. Maybe let me flip them around so you can see. There's a lot of dark cranberry bits, but also green and yellow speckled in. And I think that these are just going to make such a beautiful bright side pullover, which is going to be so wearable for me, but also such a lovely souvenir. So let's talk about my thoughts for the weekend. Why did I do that? Let's talk about some thoughts for the weekend. I know that Rhinebeck is kind of an odd thing on the internet, right? Because a lot of people have FOMO, a lot of people feel left out, and it's not possible for everybody to get here. So first of all, that's why I enjoy making my yarn tourist videos, because I would like to give people the opportunity to kind of experience it as best as they can without the, expense as far as money and energy. And I love coming here, and I've been thinking a lot this weekend about why I love coming here. And it's almost ritualistic in a way, because I never really take the time to stop and enjoy fall for being fall until I'm here, right? It's so intense. The colors are so beautiful. It's such a lovely part of the country and of the state, and it's not far from my home. And it always makes me think my home is probably this beautiful too, but I don't really take the time to look around and enjoy it. And I was raised in upstate New York, and it does feel a bit like home, the entire state. So maybe a big part of why I love it so much is just the nostalgia and the warmth of coming here and really taking a beat to enjoy the surroundings, enjoy being surrounded by people who knit and love knitting, and recognizing patterns in the wild and recognizing patterns that are on my queue that I'm so excited to make. I have seen so many Arctis shawls this week and several Lunenburg pullovers. They've really got me inspired to go home and cast those two projects on. All in all, my point is, Rhinebeck isn't the only yarn festival. This isn't the only type of autumn. This is one corner of the internet, and it gets a lot of attention, so I think it gets a little overblown. And I hope that watching my videos gave you a little chance to experience it in your own way, but also do your thing. Like, experience fall in your neck of the woods. Go to a yarn festival or a yarn store near you, or support local online, or whatever makes you happy. Rhinebeck is not the end all be all of wool festivals. It's just one that really benefits from being in a beautiful place at a beautiful time every year. And I'm not complaining. I love it, and I'll probably still continue to come every year. But I also don't think it's this sort of rite of passage. I think I love it because I'm from here, and I think that you could love one near you too that reminds you of home. All right, I'm gonna stop being weird now. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that you stuck around to the end of the video, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I have no idea what sort of content I have coming up next, but this one has been a doozy of a weekend as far as video production. So right now, all I can think about is the fact that I've got a long drive home, and then I have a couple long videos to edit right away. So I'm gonna get to it, but I've enjoyed so much spending the weekend with all of you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.